One-time rivals now joining forces to launch a historic presidential bid. This was how Joe Biden asked the California Senator Kamala Harris to help him reach the White House. Opinions are divided.
I think it's great news. I think it's long overdue for us to have a black woman, a minority woman, be vice president.
I think it's a little bit risky because she's a highly controversial candidate.
In fact, it was Biden who welcomed the tough-on-crime prosecutor onto the national political scene when she was sworn into the Senate in 2017.
I did.
From there, she burnished her credentials as a combative lawmaker.
The president has asserted that torture works. Do you agree with that statement? And for the last time, yes or no? Did you have any communications with Russian officials?
Striking fear into her opponents.
I'm not able to be rushed this fast. It makes me nervous.
In 2019, she ran for the Democratic presidential nomination herself. That campaign saw her cross-examine Biden over his track record on race.
It's part of Joe's generation.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country.
It's a mischaracterization of my position across the board. I did not praise racist.
They buried the hatchet when she dropped out of the race and backed him to win the nomination.
Racial justice is on the ballot in 2020. And Joe Biden is on the ballot in 2020.
And so now is Harris. With rumours that the ageing Biden may only serve a single term, it's a landmark pick that may one day propel her to become the first female president.
And DW's William Glucroft is following this story for us and joins us now in the studio. Good to see you, William.
Sorry.
So what does Kamala Harris bring to Joe Biden's election campaign?
Optics, balance, experience. This is what a vice presidential pick wants. They want that to be. A vice presidential pick is always about balancing that ticket. Joe Biden, even before the Black Lives Matter protests and the racial justice movement that swept the country, even before that, people were rolling their eyes saying, Democrats, this is who you have for 2020, an old white man. So Kamala Harris has the optics of being a black woman. She also has a similar ideological profile to Joe Biden. Joe Biden is reported to have said he didn't want anyone that would challenge him too much on the issues. He wanted a vice presidential pick of someone who was basically seeing eye to eye to him. And she brings a lot of experience as an attorney general of California, as a district attorney of San Francisco before that. She knows how to argue. She knows how to craft a question. As we saw in the report, she knows how to ask pointed questions. And Joe Biden wants a fierce debater, and that's something that Kamala Harris brings to the table.
Joe Biden had a lot of choice when it came to picking a running mate. What do Democrats make of his choice here?
Yeah, he did have a lot of choice. He already promised months ago he was going to pick a woman, so really we were just looking at a field of very qualified women. Being the vice presidential candidate now, or the presumptive candidate now, obviously the Democratic Party backs that. It's not just up to Joe Biden who becomes his nominee. So the party is clearly behind him on this, but the party is also different than the voters, the Democratic voters. And many Democratic voters, especially ones further to the left of the party, people who might be former Bernie Sanders supporters, are highly critical of Harris's record on criminal justice, on police reform, police brutality. When she was a district attorney in San Francisco, when she was Attorney General of California, she was not present, but she wasn't present. And people, especially communities of color, wanted to see her take a lot more forceful action on those very important issues to them.
So she's more centrist than a lot of Democrats would like. What about Donald Trump and his Republicans? What are they saying?
Well, what do you think, Terry? They're already calling her part of the radical left. Trump's called her phony. a weak, bad candidate, calling her mean, horrible, disrespectful to Joe Biden during the primaries. None of this is a surprise. No matter who Joe Biden picked, these would be the adjectives applied to her. It's really hard to make a case that she's from the radical left when she has such a long record of working with police, of working with prosecutors, of working with the criminal justice system. So much so, as I mentioned, being criticized for being too centrist, for being too pro-police. And as far as, you know, their relationship during the primaries, all's fair in love and presidential primaries. Of course, they went after each other when they were vying for that candidacy, and they make up, and now here we are. So Donald Trump is going to face some issues with Kamala Harris, and more specifically, Mike Pence, his vice president, who's going to be facing her in October for a vice presidential debate, because, as said, she is an extremely good debater. Wherever you might stand on the issues, there's no disputing that she is a very, very skilled debater and questioner.
Looking forward to those debates. William Glucroft, thank you so much.